Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's dive into the story of a guy who just wanted to grab some new shoes after a long shift, only to end up dealing with a Karen who mistook him for an employee and turned the situation into a nightmare. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like if you enjoy the content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a juicy story. Uniform confusion makes lady go crazy. I'm usually a friendly person and don't like confrontation, but when backed into a corner, I'll stand my ground. I work the graveyard shift at a store that has a similar look to another more popular store. I just gotten off my shift, working 11 to 7, and had noticed my shoes, slip-resistant kind, this is important for later, are looking a bit worn out. I should also add I'm wearing a coat as it's winter, so my name badge is covered, but the blue polo I'm wearing is visible. So I go to my usual place to get my shoes. They're cheap and last long enough, and as I'm looking for my size with my phone in my hand about to answer a friend's text, a lady with the usual "can I get some service" hair, about 30 to 40, walks over and is staring at me. The conversation follows. RL equals rude lady, M equals manager, me equals, you guessed it, me. RL, excuse me, are you going to help me or not? I need these shoes in another size. Me, I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't... Before I can finish, she cuts me off and raises her voice. RL, don't give me that excuse, you lazy crap. I can see your uniform under your jacket. I've got enough problems this morning without your attitude. I calmly look at her and try again, but before I can say another word, RL, no, I don't want to hear your lazy butt excuse. I'm not having this. We're seeing your manager. Now, I'm a pretty fair-sized guy, 5'11" and way over 250. So what made this lady think she could even make me move an inch? I'll never know. She grabs my wrist and starts trying to drag me off to see a manager, I presume, but I wasn't having that. I just finished my shift, I'm tired, and I just want to get my stuff and leave. The moment she grabs my wrist, phone in opposite hand, I switch my camera on and start recording. I plant my feet firmly and lock up the muscles in my legs and pull my arm back. As I did this, she had kept going forward, and this caused her to go off balance and fall. She gets up, glaring at me. RL, how dare you, she screeches and then slaps me hard. RL, I'm getting a manager, and then I'm calling the police. She storms off. At this point, I could have left, but I've seen enough of these situations to know it's too good to pass up. I stay where I am, and she returns with a manager. RL, that's him, she says with the "you're screwed and I win" smile. M, sir, this woman says you refused to help her, then assaulted her. I calmly open my jacket to show the name badge I have on, showing the name tag of the store I work for. The lady, realizing her mistake, looks at me and quickly says, RL, why are you shopping here if you work there? I politely smile and respond, me, 'cause my store doesn't sell shoes. RL, well, he still assaulted me. I then turn my phone around and play the video of her grabbing me, falling, and then slapping me. The manager looks to the woman and says something along the lines of how she attacked me and that if police were called, I could press charges. The lady splutters and looks about, ready to die of shock, and I simply say, me, I happily won't press charges if you simply apologize. The look on her face when she heard this was perfect. She apologized and seemed like the effort of this was about to kill her, but I thanked her and she was asked to leave the store. The manager apologized and took me to the customer service desk. Turns out the brand I always buy is from a company that makes shoes for this chain specifically, so they have a kind of warranty to last a certain amount of time before needing to be replaced. So I was just able to take my old ones off and walk out wearing the new ones. Thanks, lady, I just got free shoes. The proper response in this situation is to not show video evidence until the police arrive. Allow her to file a false police report and then show them the video. And our second story. Entitled lodger doesn't understand why he needs an appointment. Last summer, I had the unfortunate pleasure of dealing with a Karen who somehow thought that a person washing their own car at home was running a full-fledged car wash. This Karen, staying at a nearby lodge, decided to stir up some trouble by complaining to the lodge owner, who I'll call D. D came to me about a complaint, but instead of being upset, he had an idea. He saw a slight business opportunity and wanted to pitch it to me. He asked if I was interested in making some extra money by washing cars for the lodge guests, offering a service that no one else in town had. We talked it over for a couple of weeks and came up with a plan. On afternoons when I had time off and on weekends, I could offer the lodge guests a quiet car wash, and if needed, I could also clean their interiors. We agreed that if the guests wanted their interiors cleaned, they would need to schedule an appointment with both Dee and me so everything could be coordinated smoothly. Everything was going great. People were getting their cars washed, and I was earning some extra cash for fun. That is until last week when the entitled lodger made her grand appearance. It was a normal Thursday afternoon. I just finished washing a guest's car and was wrapping up the waxing. Even though it's February, we were done with snow for the year, and having a heated garage has its perks. I brought the car back to the lodge for the customer, let them check out their ride, they thanked me, paid, and I went to talk to Dee. As I walked into the lodge, I heard shouting and saw Dee arguing with a woman whose face looked like it belonged in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. We'll call her Karen. She was yelling at Dee about how if she wanted her car cleaned inside and out, it should be done immediately, not by appointment. The conversation went something like this. Dee: I'm sorry, Karen, but our guy needs you to make an appointment first so he can have everything ready. Karen: what in the hell kind of service is that? He should do it now when I'm ready, not when he feels like it. Dee: again, sorry, but our guy already has people lined up. That's why he does appointments. He also has another job, so he doesn't have a lot of spare time. Karen: what the hell is wrong with him? I came here to enjoy the scenery, and this is what I get? Honestly. After what seemed like an eternity to Dee, he saw me with the payment and asked me, Dee, hey, are you finished already? Me: yeah, it wasn't too bad, and the guy's happy. Here's your part. I handed him his share. Dee: thanks. You have any openings this weekend for a full cleaning? Me: sorry, Dee, I'm booked up this weekend, but I'm available next weekend. Unfortunately, that comment earned me the wrath of Karen. Karen: what do you mean booked up? Me: I'm sorry, but I have other people lined up for some cleaning. Karen: I don't care if it's the president or Bill Gates. I need you to clean my car now. Me: sorry, ma'am, but I'm first come, first serve on car washing and for full cleaning. I do appointments only. Karen: no, you will clean my car now. At this point, I knew the conversation was going nowhere, so I bluntly said, no. Karen: what did you say? Me: I said no. I can spell it out for you. N, then O. That's no. Karen started stammering, not saying anything coherent, so I added, look, I don't really care who you are, but I was listening to you insult Dee here, and now you're trying to insult me? Frankly, you can crawl back into whatever hole you crawled out of, because I will not now or ever wash your car. I looked at Dee and said, have a good night, and then went home. On Saturday, when I came in to pick up the next client's vehicle for a wash, I found out from Dee that Karen's husband was not pleased with how she'd insulted both the owner and the guy doing the car washing. They packed up and left after being there for less than a week. I was worried Dee might have some strong words for me about what happened, but instead he told me that if anyone tries to pull what Karen did, I should refuse and let him know. Dee wasn't going to let this happen again or allow people to get away with it. Now Dee and I are going to let future guests know that car cleaning needs to be scheduled by appointment or they can head downtown for a car wash. On behalf of all sane people, thank you for educating a Karen. And our next story. They have a pool on our property. My husband and I just bought a foreclosed house. Therefore, there was no survey done and nobody mentioned what I'm about to explain. Pretty much, we were talking to our neighbor to the right of us, and she said that the neighbors behind them have a pool on our property. So my husband and I looked it up on our county website, and sure enough, the entire pool is on our property. It's an above-ground pool. I thought this was crazy that we weren't told this, so I texted my realtor. Apparently, she didn't know and acted like the county website probably wasn't accurate. Told us to get our land surveyed. We were planning to anyways. We wanted to redo our fence and include all of our property in it. That's how the conversation started with our neighbor. She also said that if they had an easement, we couldn't make them remove it. I'm concerned because if, God forbid, someone were to get injured or die in the pool, we'd get sued. They have small children. It's a big mess. We can't really afford a lawyer right now, but if needed, we will get one, located in the U.S. Edit. They also have a shed on our property. The whole thing isn't on there, but I heard it's supposed to be 5 feet from our property line. I guess it wouldn't matter if they had the easement for that too. Edit 2. We proved our property lines and built a fence. Now our property is free of their stuff. And our last story. Revenge served cold. How my dad outsmarted a greedy neighbor. My father's previous house had been built at the rear of an older house that had a huge plot of land. This had been done in the 1960s, but the people who did that subdivision of the property had the foresight to include ownership of the entire driveway leading to the back as part of the deal of ownership for the rear house. Years later, while my family lived here, the new owners of the front house wanted to access a parking area they made behind their own garage on the right side of their property, via our family's driveway on the left. They tore down part of their fence on the left side to do it. Trying to avoid neighborly drama, my father said yes to them, but only if they used it as quick access to the garage and not as a parking spot, since that would block access to our house at the back. They said okay. Over the years, we lost count how many cars of people visiting them or their adult kids blocked our drive. My father deeply regretted giving them permission. Worse, they, the front house, later wanted to subdivide their large back garden into 3 small flats and submitted plans to the council for this. These original properties were huge, but in order to fit these behind their house without tearing down their garage on the right-hand side or having traffic going to the flats going past super close to their house, they assumed that they could just have use of my father's driveway. Luckily, the planning people realized that this was what was being requested, but that no letter of permission was present from my father, so I wrote to him to ask, and this is how he first found out about the idea of flats being built there at all. He was livid and said officially, "No, I don't give permission. They blocked me in often enough with just one house in front. Imagine how much it would happen with another 3 houses crammed in there, each with the bare minimum of parking space." Neighbor was obviously looking for a hefty payday for squeezing 3 extra houses at the back, so was not amused when planning permission was denied. The front neighbor got very nasty to my father for years, but also desperately wanted to buy my father's place. My father heard all the gossip about how the front neighbor was bad-mouthing him from other neighbors he was friends with. In an act of absolute revenge, my father, when he sold the place, he was friends with someone who was really wanting to live in the area. These were all sought-after large houses with beautiful large gardens, also in a very good school area, and properties didn't come up for sale very often. He explained the whole situation, warning them that if they gave permission, they would get 3 houses in front of them, extra noise and traffic, and absolutely certainly would get driveway problems, told them to refuse permission to use the driveway for the front neighbor for doing the dirty on him, and then sold it to that friend in a private sale. Apparently, he heard from the grapevine later that his front neighbor's head almost exploded in rage when he heard that news. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.